What made you want to do the Masked Singer?
Ken Jung.
Really?
Yeah, I've been, me and Ken did Community together, and he's been guessing me on The Masked Singer for about 12 seasons and asking me behind the scenes would I ever do it for about 12 seasons. So I felt like this was the time to put him out of his misery and finally do the show for him.
That's a good reason.
Hmm.
I mean, you have such a great voice. It was honestly such a surprise to see you go home. Was it a shock to you as well?
It was a shock, and not because I'm like, I'm great, but just because
Yeah.
I just got my sea legs and I had already
Yeah.
rehearsed my third song and I was ready to come back and do more.
Yeah.
But everybody's great on the show
Mhm.
and everybody puts in their time and works hard, and you never know when your number's up, but it was actually, I think, the perfect amount of time. I got to have the experience. I got to
Mhm.
surprise Ken, and it also was a very difficult time for my dad. I'm a caregiver, so
Mhm.
it kind of was the right time to kind of come in, pop in, and then get to go back to real life and take care of my papa. So yeah, but I was surprised.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
And it's a super unique experience, obviously, being in a mask, being in a costume. What was it like moving around in that showbird fit?
It's a little scary because
Hmm.
I was seeing through her little beak,
Yeah.
and I couldn't, because I had a harness on and I had that big caboose behind me. I couldn't put my head down to see where I was
Hmm.
going. So I had to gauge where the end of the stage was, where the dancers were, because you only can
Mm.
see like this. I had to gauge where everyone was, and I was just praying that I didn't sweep around with that big caboose and knock one of the
Yeah.
wonderful dancers out. So there's all of that pressure in your mind, and then you also want to sound good.
Yeah, of
So it's like,
course.
yeah, you can't let the fact that you're nervous about all these other things get into your voice. So it was a challenging gauntlet, but I think I did okay.
Yeah, you did great.
Thank you.
Well, you obviously have Ken, but do you think you'll hear from any of your community co-stars after they see you on the show?
Well, Joel was my ambassador, so Joel
Yeah.
knew that I was doing the show. And I'm waiting to see. We have a very lively group chat. I haven't
Hmm.
yet heard anyone going, "Are you Showbird?" So I think that they either have not caught on yet, or they're waiting for the big reveal to say, "I always knew."
Yeah.
But we spent so much time together on Community. They know my voice. They know what I look like. They know how I walk. No one would be surprised that it's me. They'd guess me.
It'll be interesting to see what their reaction is.
Yeah.
Who else did you tell? I mean, who knew about what you were doing?
My fiance knew,
Hmm.
and I think one person on my team knew. Otherwise, yeah, I think my lawyer knew because he did the
Yeah.
contract. But everything else was pretty low key, and I'm really good. Like if you give me an NDA and say you want to take my pinky toe, if I tell
Mhm.
anybody, I want to keep my pinky toe. So I didn't tell anybody. And yeah, so it was really, it's going to be a big surprise for a few friends. And I've gotten random texts from friends going,
Mhm.
"You're Showbird, right?" And I'm
Yeah.
just leave it red. I have not responded yes or no because I don't want to
Oh,
lie to anybody.
funny.
But yeah,
Well, they're about to find out.
yeah.
You alluded to singing being your first love.
Mhm.
What was it like getting back on stage and singing, but doing it without the pressure of having anyone really know who you are?
It felt like putting on your favorite pair of tennis shoes that have been broken in. I
Hmm.
was like, "Oh, hey, friend. I remember
Yeah.
you. I remember what this feels like. I remember the joy of this." Because for me, I was never one of those people who's like, "I want to be the best." It was never about that. I just love music. I love harmony, and
Hmm.
I love phrasing and lyrics. I love all of that. And so to have been given a bit of a gift that God blessed me with, to be able to take part in the thing that I love, is such a
Hmm.
delight. So it was like fun to just get to do what I love again for a
Yeah.
minute.
And you said that your fiance kind of inspired you to get back into music and get back into singing. How
Yeah.
has finding this love in your life opened you up more creatively? And has it allowed you to pursue any other creative passions?
Well, one, he's my biggest cheerleader.
Yeah.
And I'm doing the press tour today, and I heard a rumbling outside of my door, my
Mhm.
booth, and I opened it, and he had put a whole breakfast out there for me so I can go in
Oh,
and like grab some bites. Like that's how caring Tony is. And him coming back in my life and me finding love at this advanced age showed me that it's life's not over, and
hmm,
that things can happen at any time, and miracles are still possible, and delay is not denial, all of those things. And so if I set love aside and thought that was over and it wasn't, what else have I set aside that I thought was over and it wasn't? And so music was something I set aside and thought was over. So maybe it's not over either. So
yeah,
that's how he
maybe
helped
not.
me. Yeah.
I think you should explore it. Your voice is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Would you do anything like this again?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This year I'm spending a lot of time doing things that scare me a little bit. And
Hmm.
so I did a Broadway workshop for the amazing show Smash that's coming to
Hmm.
Broadway in the spring. And I did 5 weeks of that and we did 8 performances. I was terrified, but I did it anyway. I was terrified to sing as myself on The Masked Singer, but I did it
Yeah.
anyway. So I'm at the point now where it's like, let's see what the next thing that's a little bit terrifying that comes. Safe, just
Hmm.
terrifying. And let's see. And maybe it'll be a yes for one of those things too.
Yeah, why not? Speaking of something a little less terrifying, when we
Yeah.
last spoke to your community co-star, Joel McHale, he told us that you guys were definitely shooting the film this year. So can you give us some updates on that?
I don't know when you talked to him because if you
We talked
talk to him,
in March.
okay, listen, all right. I just don't, this is the thing. I don't know. I don't think Joel was lying to you because the plan was to shoot it this year.
Yeah.
But the strike happening and then
Mhm.
everybody's schedules getting kind of rejiggered. I don't know if everybody is going to be free in time to
Yeah.
shoot it this year. I will say this, the film is going to be shot. It is going
Hmm.
to happen. We do have a script and everyone is on board. And we also just got a that incentive that LA gives you to shoot here, we just got that incentive. So
Oh,
it,
that's
it could
great.
still happen. It could still happen this year. I just know that it is happening.